I'm the Chief Executive of Bristol Credit Union. This is Ciaran Mundy, who's from the Bristol Pound, one of the directors of the Bristol Pound Community Interest Company that has worked hard to set up the Bristol Pound and who were partners in that scheme. Not in any other sense, and speaking in the sense of the scheme.
You've always denied me, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not in public, I told you.
Have you raised the issue? Anyway.
So we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about particularly local as one of the things that can make up ethical money. One of the things that you can do to make your money count. And really, for me, local is all about connection. So whether you're with a big high street bank or even one of the very large building societies, if you've chosen to move your money slightly, it still tends to be the case that when you put money into your account, whether it's a current account or into savings, that the money that you put in, really you can't see very directly doing anything around you. Now, there might well be local small businesses, there might be a community energy project or something else which is just around the corner that is using some of your money, but the fact that it goes through this big, huge system on its way between you and anybody else means there's a real disconnect between what you do with your money and where it ends up and where it might be doing good, or equally where it might be off not doing quite so much good because it's invested in things that maybe you don't approve of or don't agree with. So local, for me, is really about the round the corner type stuff. And the credit union, certainly in Bristol, is all about local. We're based on a geography, which is the former Avon County. The Bristol Pound is very much about local as well, because it's designed and its aim is to help local small businesses and local people to come together to spend more of their money directly with each other and to support each other. One of the big reasons for that is that money that's managed locally, money that's spent locally, tends to stay in the local area for longer and do more good. So there's something called the local multiplier effect, which there's been a fair bit of academic research into. It basically says that if you have some money that you spend in a local small business, it tends to stay around the local area between 3 and 6 times more than if you spend the same £10 in a large chain or in a national or multinational company. And Ciaran is going to demonstrate this for us through science and art.
Science and art. Yeah. Well, the art was done earlier by the previous workshop. So we created some money. We printed our own money earlier. So this is just a simple way of demonstrating what happens. Now I need some volunteers from each side of the table, please. How many people have got this side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although somebody's with a camera, maybe not going to be included. So, okay, if you want to come down this end, so we're all together, who'd like to volunteer to receive an early paycheck this month? One from that side, one from this side, and we need one from this side as well. Who wants to receive? Okay, you two guys, let's come to the front. What we're going to demonstrate is that, based on what James has just said, effectively, I've got a pile of faux sterling here and a pile of Bristol pounds here, which we've made up, just written out on bits of paper, obviously. It's not real money, so don't run out the door as soon as you get this. You've got the Bristol pounds, okay? Yeah. You can spend with the kind of businesses James was just describing. So, an independent local businesses. Now, when you spend money of that kind, it's not just any money that you spend, in fact, whether it's sterling or Bristol pounds. If you spend it in a local shop, about something like 80% of it gets re-spent again in the local economy. So I've given you £10 there. So that means that the person who receives it can keep 8 of those pounds, 8 out of 10 of them, and spend them again with the next person. And that's what you'll do. So if you spend it with Nick on the end here in the blue check shirt, he will then take £2 out of it, which will go to pay bankers or the system or whatever, pensions, me, exactly. And then you'll be able to spend it with the next person, okay? And then you'll spend it. Now remember how much you spent. You remember how much you spent, And then when you receive it, you again have to take out a similar proportion. So it's about 20% leaves. You get about 20% loss with local money each time it's spent to the system, to whatever, leaking out the area. Now, sterling money, if you spend it, say, in Aldi, big supermarkets, or a big national conglomerate, or whatever it is, it's the other way around the proportions. So only about 20% gets spent again in the local area. So when you spend it, this £10 I'm going to give you, you've got to put, the next person receives all 10, but they put 8 to one side, and then only got 2, which they will then spend on with the next person. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does anybody got any questions about that?
Yeah, do you tear it up when you need to pass on £1.60?
Well, if you just, basically, if I've got the £10,
yeah.
I'm the person if I've received my salary, this is my money. If I go and spend it at the shop, there's 10 quid,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you just received £10, if you were to spend it in a big company, a national or international company, about 10 of those pounds would leave through paying their shareholders or long supply chains that go overseas, and there'd be £2 left to spend locally. And so you'd only spend 2 at the next stage. Okay? Now, what we're going to see is how quickly that affects the scale of the economy, just in a very quick experiment. So there's your wage. You've got £10 each. I think actually you've only got £9. So you've got less money to start with, because we've gone missing.
9.
You check, you've got 10.
10. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So remember how much you've spent. Each person remember how much you spent. So you're going to keep 2 and on.
I'm passing all of
So what
this.
have we got more?
You're going to, the first person spends all of it.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go.
Let's make it nice. Very nice.
Thank you
Never
very
mind.
much.
Very good.
10, yep.
I haven't got much less. You've got to keep 80%.
I think so,
You
yeah.
have to give me 20p.
You're going to have to... What's the 20% or something? 5 is 1.
Yeah,
Well, I can't like
No,
tear
so
it off
that's
or
it.
something.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
do it roughly.
That's
Don't worry about the fractions too much. Do it roughly. You can tear it in half if you
So
like.
you want to tear it.
No, it's hard to money, isn't it? It's difficult to tear it.